50 or 60 years ago, there were huge differences among members of Congress over policy, right? We think about segregation and busing and civil rights and all of the major conflicts that happened in the 60s. In terms of social divisiveness, were much more contentious than the things that we're talking about now. These things seem like almost, raising the debt ceiling seems like minutia in comparison to dealing with massive riots across the country as a result of civil rights and the Vietnam War and so on. So this project, it's a book-length project called More Than a Feeling, Personality, Polarization, Transformation of the U.S. Congress. On all the major issues that these divisions have come up, most recently the government shutdown that happened last fall.
Washington is broken.
We're here to work. We're here to get this taken care of so that government can be funded while also addressing these problems of Obamacare. You might want to tell Harry Reid to end the shutdown.
The Republicans were divided not along ideological lines. There were liberals and moderate and conservative Republicans who supported the shutdown, moderate and conservative Republicans who opposed it. And we wanted to try to understand why. And so the story that we're telling is that it's actually their personality traits, legislators' personality traits, which we believe to be measures about preferences over things that aren't ideological, like risk and altruism, that are actually affecting their vote choices, and not just votes, actually wide range of legislative behavior. Because we argue that the personality traits themselves are reflective of sort of underlying non-ideological preferences, they explain how two people with the same policy goals might pursue them in different ways. So for example, you and I might be rank and file, in ideological terms, rank and file Republican members of the Congress, both about equally conservative. But if I'm more open to new experiences than you, I'm going to be more willing to take risks. I'm going to be more willing to seek novelty. I'm going to be more willing to gamble. What we found is one of the key discriminating factors between Republicans who support the shutdown, ending the shutdown, and Republicans who want to keep the shutdown going is actually openness to new experience. So the ones who want to keep it going are much more risk-seeking, and they're much more willing to make the gamble. When we look at personality, the aggregate personality traits of members of Congress over time, we actually have very close trajectories between the ideological polarization, the extent of that, and, for example, the decline in agreeableness. There's just been a huge drop in agreeableness, and we have a figure actually in the book where we track this, and we found much less agreeableness, a declining emotional stability, declining openness to new experiences, and you sort of bundle all of those things together, and you have a recipe for people who don't want to take potential risks that could help the country, and people who don't want to work together. And I think also this sort of thing has some big implications too for how people look at Congress. I think a lot of people think that the solution to Congress's problems is just to get rid of ideological extremists and just elect a lot of moderates. But what our research suggests is you can still have a lot of moderates, but dysfunction if the personality traits actually don't line up appropriately.